It's the Health in the Real World podcast. It's time to start the show with Chris Janke as your host. Here to give you everything that you need when it comes to fitness strategies. We keep it simple and easy. It's your roadmap to get healthy. You don't need equipment and you don't need a gym. Just the right strategies to get you fit and trim.
The Health in the Real World podcast is sponsored by...
My name is Randy Herring, and I'm the author of The Fitness Mindset, 7 Habits for Peak Performance. Buy my book to build strong, healthy habits and transform your mind and your body.
Bo, you're definitely doing the heart healing as well. You know, I'm sure people come to you in, different situations, but wanting to improve the quality of their lives in like you said, being sober and enjoying their life in a different way, right?
Well, and I think, why are these people drinking in the first place or doing drugs or whatever? It's a reaction to some sort of abuse or trauma that may have gone unrecognized. And so they're just doing the knee jerk. I need to feel better. This will numb me. And I don't want to really look at it too deeply because I've been shamed in the past. And I think, Bo, that is so important that you let people realize there are other ways that you can feel good and go beyond the pain than drugs and alcohol. So, wowee, congratulations. That's really, really brilliant.
That's big work. Well, let me officially introduce the episode. We have 2 guests today who have previously joined me. I'm Chris Janke, and I'm joined today by Dr. Marsha Martin and Bo Green. Thank you both for joining me today. We got a little bit of a sneak peek because I hit record while you guys were talking. I thought that was an interesting conversation. So, but let's dive a little bit deeper and introduce the audience to us. Dr. Marsha, why don't you go ahead and start?
Right. I'm Dr. Marsha Martin. I call myself a heart healer because I work with the angels in the energetic heart space to help people overcome abuse and trauma.
Nice. And Bo, quick introduction.
Hey guys, my name is Bo Green. I'm a sober confidence coach and serial adventurer around the world. So right now I'm traveling around the world helping people have fun while they're sober and doing awesome adventures while doing it.
That's awesome. And I'm Chris Janke. Hosted this show since, I guess, August 2020 and really started pumping out the episodes a couple months ago. And my vision with this podcast is to be an extension of what I've been doing for almost 20 years as a fitness trainer. And it's to really introduce different ideas and introduce different people who are all doing some amazing things. So that's awesome. I think trauma, that word trauma has come up a lot actually in my past couple of interviews today even. I think we should go this direction because Marsha, you're talking about helping people heal traumas. And, Bo, obviously alcohol can either band-aid a trauma or it can cause trauma. People get, too drunk, go out and do something they regret for the rest of their lives. Either of you want to take this like as a jumping off point and talk about your perceptions of this right now or how you're looking at it right now?
Well, I'm going to say, I don't understand how we as a society got so far away from what feeling good in our physical bodies. So how did we move from, gosh, it feels great to be in this physical vessel that is doing exercise and eating well and drinking really fresh, crisp water and feeling really hydrated, to I have to numb everything. And I don't know whether it's the high fructose corn syrup industry that has started all this or what, but I got to tell you, I just don't understand the idea or the joy of, I need to ingest something that will make me just completely be obliterated for the next couple of hours. And I'm going to call that a really good time. How did we get there?
Yeah, because when we're kids, we all love, we love playing on the playground and having fun and just enjoying the body, right? Like you said. And
Yeah, drink from the hose. It's disgusting. And, but you don't immediately gravitate toward sugary drinks or things like that. You're very satisfied with water. And how do we go from there to it's all too much? So I'm going to just every weekend disappear into a coma for hours at a time and call that a well-lived life. Bo, we need you, honestly.
Well, I think it really all started from back in the day. Like, the Vikings would come back from these like incredible battles. They would all get together, they would drink mead, and they would celebrate,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And I just think in today's day and age, a lot of people, they go to work, they do their things. They might not necessarily love their jobs, and then the weekend is the time to celebrate, right? So we have the weekend drinker. Sometimes we have people that use alcohol to go to sleep. Sometimes we have people who use alcohol for confidence. Some people use alcohol to have fun, right? Those are all things that we can do without alcohol. But since we've gotten used to using the alcohol to do those things, we start to become reliant on it. And when we try to take it away, it's not that easy.
Yeah.
Right. I think a really fun thing to do is to hang out with drunk people as a sober person, because there are some things that, like you said, Bo, confidence is one thing that a lot of people believe that they don't have unless they do drink. But I think, and then kind of weaving into what you said, Marcia, is like when we're kids, we're goofy. I'm thinking like 6, 7, 8-year-olds, before the teenage drama. We all the kids, like they're goofy. Someone punches you in the eye by accident, you cry for a minute and you get over it and you go play again, and everyone's just mixing it up. And that's something that, like, yeah, we think that we need that alcohol, and we forget about our lack of confidence in that moment. But going back to what I said, like I went like 15 years without drinking. It was kind of by accident. I just one day decided like, no thanks. And then the next day it was a little bit easier. The next day a little bit easier. And then I realized, wow, I haven't had a drink in a while.
Wow.
But hanging out with people at parties and stuff, I'm like, okay, you, Johnny, whoever it was, you're way more fun now than you were 5 hours ago. And I liked that challenge of trying to get into my own body as somebody who had fewer inhibitions, which is, I think, one thing that alcohol can do. But I think it's a better challenge to say, how can I do that without the alcohol, right? Like, how can I go out and have fun? Like, Bo, you just came back from South America, and now you're in Florida, and you're just like surfing and enjoying life without the alcohol. And was that something you had to deliberately say, I'm going to do all this fun stuff and I'm not going to drink? Or did that come to you? How did that happen?
Well, I had one moment where I was just like, I realized that it was difficult for me to meet women unless I was with my boys, unless I was drinking. And then I was like, do I really want to meet my future wife, my future partner drunk? Because every time I put myself in that situation, I would always meet women drunk. And I didn't want that. I didn't want my future partner to fall in love with me being my drunk self. I wanted to test my game to see if I could actually attract somebody without being drunk. And that's what I've been doing for 4 years now. And it's still difficult because I have to relearn everything. But that journey is something that it's fun. It's something that I see the progress, and it's something that it's important to me. So that one thing was, do I want to meet my partner drunk and need to be drunk in order to have the confidence to go up and approach her? And the answer for me was no. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes in order to get to that point.
Yeah. When you first started drinking back whenever, college or whenever, was meeting women a part of that, like, reason for wanting to do it? Or was it more like what you're saying, like hanging out with the boys type of thing? Or
it was number one. I started when I was 15, and honestly, when I was hanging out with the boys, I wouldn't drink. if there was no women around, I wouldn't drink. It was not worth it.
Right.
I remember it being 16 and chugging a full bottle of vodka before we would go out and talk to women, because then I would have like some sort of superpowers where I wasn't shy anymore. I was more outgoing. I didn't feel as awkward. So yeah, that became my ritual for. I was really good at binge drinking, and it became a ritual of mine in order to speak to women.
Wow.
Okay, as the only woman here, can I tell you, it is not attractive to talk to somebody who's been drinking. It is not, you know, right away, the person is just, alcohol is such a false whatever. It's just, it is not comfortable to be with somebody who's in an altered state and have them approach you as a woman, because we are already physically less, I'm not going to say physically less able, but in a contest of strength, if either one of you were to be drunk, I'm only 5'2", it's likely that you could overpower me very easily. As a woman, we do not want to deal with you guys when you are using drugs or alcohol, because I need you to be in your right mind, not in your altered mind, and think crazy things, and then use that crazy support to do things you wouldn't normally do that I can't defend myself from. So I don't know if that gives you a different perspective, but as a short woman, even though I'm physically strong, I don't like to be with people who are not in their right mind, because I don't feel like I can reason with them, and it may come down to a physical situation. And I know it's not likely that I'm going to come out on top in a physical altercation.
Right.
And, you know, I live here in Los Angeles, and oftentimes we have homeless people who can be extremely sweet, but I won't even go near them if I see that they're drunk or doing some sort of drugs, because they're too volatile. They're too unpredictable. Whereas before I could have said good morning or hello or how are you. I will keep a wide berth if there's any kind of substance going on there that I can see, because of the unpredictability of it.
Yeah, there's definitely that safety issue for you yourself. There's the health issue of drugs and alcohol. And then there's, I think, a third thing that just popped into my head, Marcia, about, you know, especially if you see, you know, a drunk person, let's say in the middle of the day on the side of the road, you know, you're questioning like, is this something I even want to get involved with? But I want to shift the conversation to kind of what you were talking about, Marcia, with heart healing. So somebody who is maybe on the path down, either whether it's drugs, alcohol, or maybe it's another type of dependency, or they've gotten off track somehow. And by off track, I don't mean based on what society wants them to do, but I mean based on what they themselves expect of themselves, and they've gone a different way from even what they want to do. What are some components of getting back on track in that case?
Well, I think the most important thing to recognize is whenever we're going into any kind of addiction, or we're veering off the path that is aligned with our highest good, it's always because we've lost the ability to see ourselves as we are and love ourselves as we are. We start looking in the mirror and finding only critical things to say or critical thoughts to entertain. So I would just want everyone to begin with one thought every day, that begin with one and then you want to add up, but just one thing that you can hold on to. Choose anything about yourself that you can love without any kind of Oh yeah, yeah. You don't want any kind of mockery in it. It has to be sincere. So just one thing that you can find about yourself that sincerely speaks to you, to your character, to something about you that you can love. And I would ask that you just focus on that throughout the day as much as possible. And just keep adding on things that you do love about yourself as the days go on. But it has to be sincere. You don't want to do any kind of pretending, because then it may actually reverse you, and then you'll say, yeah, see, I lie about everything, I'm even lying about what's good about me. And then, okay, now it spins you out into needing the drug or the alcohol to make yourself feel better about the fact that you can't find anything worthy about yourself. So find one point of worth and just keep expanding upon that.
What is that? Yeah, I get what you mean. Like, you can't lie to yourself. You can't say like, I'm, I don't know. I don't know. If you're broke, you don't want to just start saying, I'm a multimillionaire. I'm a multimillionaire. Your brain's like, what are you talking about? No, you're not.
Yeah, because, well, the distance between the 2 points is so large that you have all this room to get lost. So
Right.
keep the distance small. You can say, I'm excited that I'm learning how to attract more money, or I'm excited that I'm getting on the right path. You want to, though, move away from the future based thinking into the now as
Oh,
quickly as you can. So, as soon as you can, you want to say, I'm excited and delighted that uh, the way is open for me, or I am in alignment with the money that I desire. Anything that you can truly uh, feel good about. If you're reaching and you have a lot of distance, there's just too much room to get off on the wrong track. So you want to keep your goals little and reach them, and then get delighted, excited, ecstatic over the fact that you've reached them. Even if you've managed to go this far, oh my gosh, I'm so delighted that I've been able to get anywhere. This, look at me, I got this far. This is so much better than yesterday. Learn to love yourself enough to congratulate yourself for every positive step forward. It's like training. None of us start out being able to run a marathon the minute we think of the idea. It takes practice. And for some people, they may need to learn how to walk for that 25-mile stretch first, because they haven't been out of their armchair in 10 years. So any step forward should be celebrated and honored. Any step backward should just be, oh, that's okay. Just brush it off. Okay, look at me. I am trying my best. There are going to be days when it doesn't go the way I want it to, but that's okay. I'm going to get up and do it again. We just stay away from the critical and into and in alignment with the positive, loving self-talk as much as possible.
yeah. I like that. I like that. Bo, is that something that's an ingredient in what you do with people? Like, do you see some of, your clients or people you go on the retreats with, that there's like a self-talk thing that we need to be changing?
Absolutely. One of the first exercises I do with my clients is for them to tell me the things that they love about themselves in 60 seconds. I just kind of time it,
Oh,
like, all right,
wow.
what are the things you love about yourself? And people normally say, oh, nobody's ever asked me that. I've never thought about that. And it's wild. And, this exercise really helps people. And sometimes when they stop, like when they're completely like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, well, reach out to who's the closest person to you, right? All right, have them give you a few things of what they love about you. And then you can start build this list, and this list gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then next time somebody asks you, boom, you got it. You have it down. I know it was so funny that Marcia actually talked about that, because I just on my mirror wrote down did a big heart out of dry erase markers on my mirror, and wrote down all the things I love about myself around that heart. And at the bottom it says, no matter what you say or do, I'll always love you. Which sounds like, kind of interesting, but it's true. There's nothing I could say or do and anybody else could say or do that they would not love themselves.
Yeah.
That is absolutely brilliant. I love that. Because it hits every note. The thing that we fear the most is that we will be unlovable and unloved and lost and alone. So you are just saying, well, you always have you.
Mhm.
And
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, who are we with 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Every relationship we have can fall apart. Even if you are the most magical person on the planet, the other person can decide they're just done with whatever you have to offer. You are the only one that really needs to love you. So that's brilliant, because that just takes all that fear away.
And we spend so much time backing up our friends, backing up our family, but they did this, but they did all these things right. But when it comes to ourselves, we're like, oh, well, you suck. At times we throw ourselves under the bus. Sometimes when we don't make every single thing we plan out to do, we don't get it all done. You'd be like, all right, well, at least, like exactly what you said, Marcia, at least we got this done. At least we made a little bit of progress. And just celebrating those wins. I know one thing that changed my life, and I say this to my clients as well, is journaling, so that you can actually go back in time and see all the progress that you've actually made. If you look in the mirror every day, you tend not to change that much. But if you look back in a journal from a year ago, there's so much change and so much progress. Just like when you look at a picture of you 10 years ago, you won't even recognize yourself from all the growth that you've done. And journaling is a great way to be able to do that from a written word standpoint, not just from the physical.
Yeah, that's so true. Getting that down on paper. I need to start journaling. I've been out of the habit for a while, but what you guys are talking about, nice. I love it.
It's always on me.
That's great. Yeah, and there's something powerful about taking out a pen and paper and doing it old school instead of using the apps and keeping everything digital. Like, you have it in your hand, you can hold it, you can show your children one day, they can learn more about you. That's powerful. I'm back on this. This has motivated me.
And I'm going to share something that I find absolutely fascinating about handwriting as opposed to any kind of typing, is the movement of your hand. And it obviously doesn't matter which hand, whether you're right or left-handed, but the movement is creating new neural pathways. Typing doesn't have enough differentiation in it, but the brain is stimulated by the movement of the hand. And so what you are writing is actually creating new neural pathways. This is why it's often helpful to write affirmations. Now, affirmations have their own difficulty because you just can't leave all the abuse and trauma and all that mindset sitting there and then think that you can just write over top of it and it will magically disappear. So I always encourage people, clear away the debris first, take your garbage out, clean the space, and then write on that beautiful clean space whatever it is you are wanting to affirm. But I love the fact that you use an old school journal, because you are reminding yourself with every word that you write, look how far we've come. So it's easier to hold on to your progress because now you've engaged the brain in a positive way. And I always talk all about the heart, and the Heart Math Institute has proven that there are more neurons going from the heart to the brain than from the brain to the heart. So I always think of the heart really as the command center and the brain as sort of the heart is the boss and brain is the worker. So you are training the worker with your hand to do what you want it to do, which helps, especially if you've used alcohol or drugs or something to kind of override that program. You're overriding it in a positive way. So brain is going to want to do the work that you tell it to do, which is the uplifting, inspiring, magnifying, fabulous qualities work, as opposed to the work that it may have been trained to do in the past, which is to criticize, condemn, and cut down. And as a society, man, we are so hardwired to that condemning program.
Yep. I think as I don't know what it is about humans, but I had an interesting conversation with my last podcast guest that humans are not hardwired for happiness. We're hardwired to seek safety.
Yeah.
And sometimes those are at odds. And where, our 21st century lives in general, and, we can't speak for everyone. Obviously, that homeless person on the street is not as safe as somebody who's housed, but by and large, we're very safe, and it's I don't know if we're like making up problems to fight each other about or what it is, but I think it is also, I'm going very big picture now because I want to transition to help you guys go big picture to wrap everything up. But I think about this a lot. I think about conflict a lot among people, and I think about our nation and our world. And Bo, what you're talking about doing at an individual level, I think would be very valuable for us to do on a world level as well. Obviously we always want to progress and we always want to get better, but at the same time, let's see how far we've come and where we're living now and how blessed we are to have what we have, food in our bellies, to be able to meet each other and communicate hundreds or like 500 miles for you, Marcia, and Bo, I think you're about 3,000 miles away. But just having this great conversation with you guys, I really appreciate it. I want to give each of you a chance to go really big picture. And look, my favorite question, you're in front of a college graduating class and you're going to give your 30-second talk, your motivational speech on how they can get the most out of their lives. What are some big picture insights that have really served you in your life?
Marcia, would you like to tackle that one first?
Sure. This is one of my favorite things because now that we are leaving the Piscean age and fully landed in the Aquarian age, I had a conversation, and I divide God into mother, father, because I grew up with a male God and that didn't work well for me. So now they're mother, father, God to me. So I had a conversation with Mother God and I said, what is it that you want most from us? And she said, you are leaving the era of competition and entering the era of cooperation. And this is this awakening, the ascension, the ability to come together is what is most important in the world right now. So I would encourage every person that is stepping into their life, look to who you can cooperate with and how you can lift yourself and someone else.
Wow.
Beautiful.
That is very powerful.
Beautiful. Thank you, Marcia. As for me, I would love to be in front of a college audience. Love it. And I think I mentioned this last time, but yep. I would recommend to everybody to have at least a month or two period of time where you're traveling by yourself. Because when we come out of college, when we come out of high school, we start to develop different personalities based off of the people who are around us. And when you're finished with college, you're able to really do exactly what you want to do, go wherever you want to go, do whatever you want to do. And you're going to start attracting different types of people. And when you look at those people, the 5 people around you, the people you really resonate with the most, you'll start to understand who you are. And the thing is, you're going to constantly be changing. You're going to constantly be trying new things, surrounding yourself with different people, going to different places. And as long as you love the 5 people around you, and you can take each positive quality from each one of those people, that becomes you. You are your environment. You are who you surround yourself with. So, and you're always going to change. The only thing that's always going to happen is you're going to change, and that's okay. And it's beautiful, and it's you. And thank God for adaptivity, the ability to adapt and the ability to be unique.
Absolutely, 100%. Well, how do people get in touch with you guys? Website, social media, programs you have going on?
They can reach me at mmhearthealer.com. And we are in the process of creating a foundation so that you can receive coaching on a scholarship basis, as opposed to if you don't have the funds, because so often trauma and abuse folks are also having a really rough time financially. So we are just in the process of expanding so that we'll be able to serve more people. And it won't matter where you may have found yourself financially. All you need is a willing heart and the desire to leave that trauma and abuse behind you.
Right on. And for me, the best way to reach me is Instagram. And my Instagram is _BO_green. And yeah, we just had our first sober adventure retreat where we were surfing, jumping off of waterfalls. We were doing sober ecstatic dance, which no joke, I've never seen so many people dance for so long and be dead sober, like full on dancing. And
Nice.
it was awesome. So next stop's going to be Asia for me. I'm going to bring this sober adventure experiences around the world. So if anybody wants to
Wow.
reach out to me via Instagram. And it's Bo Green. It's like the easiest name ever, and it's mine. So it's the one that was given to me. So
Awesome. Well, thank you both for joining me today. Really appreciate it. Again, my name is Chris Janke, and I'm joined today by Marsha Martin and Bo Green. Thank you guys both so much, doing some great work, and it's great being in touch with you guys.
Thanks so much, Chris.
right on. Have a beautiful day, both of you.
Thanks for listening to the Health in the Real World show. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below. Visit mycorebalance.com to learn more.